Right now, everyone is watching oil prices. Some people are watching gas markets, but almost no one is watching what actually matters next. Because the real global risk is not energy anymore, it is food. And the most important thing to understand is this: the global food system does not break all at once. It breaks slowly and then suddenly. What is happening right now because of disruptions around the Strait of Hormuz is not a one-time shock. It's something much more dangerous. It's a chain reaction. Most people think commodity shocks are simple. Prices go up, supply adjusts, things normalize, but agriculture does not work like that. Food production runs on tight biological timelines. You do not just decide to plant later. You do not just catch up on fertilizer. If something goes wrong at the wrong moment, that is it. The damage is locked in, and that's exactly what is starting to happen. Let me break this down in a simple way. There are 4 steps to global food production: fertilizer supply, planting decisions, crop growth, harvest, and distribution. If you disrupt step 1 even briefly, it does not just raise costs. It changes everything downstream. Farmers use less fertilizer, they switch crops, yields drop, and that does not show up immediately. It shows up months later, in food prices. So what we are seeing now is not the crisis, it's the setup for the crisis. Here is where it gets really important. This is not hitting the world all at once. It's moving, region by region, season by season. Think of it like a wave traveling through the global crop calendar. First stop, North America right now. The US and Canada are already dealing with fertilizer stress. Nitrogen supply is tight, logistics are strained. Governments are stepping in to try and keep things moving. But here is the key point. Most of the 2026 crop is still okay. The real risk is what happens next. If disruption continues, the problem rolls into the next planting cycle. Next stop, Asia, May to August. This is where things start to get serious. Asia is entering peak planting season for rice and maize, and the system is under pressure. India is scrambling to secure fertilizer and energy inputs. Bangladesh is already facing shortages, and China is restricting fertilizer exports to protect its own supply. That creates a split system. Stronger countries lock in supply early, weaker countries don't, and that's where the first real cracks appear. Final stop, South America, late 2026. This is the big one. Brazil and Argentina are 2 of the most important food producers in the world, and they rely heavily on imported fertilizer. Their key planting window is September to December. If supply is still disrupted by then, this stops being a regional issue and becomes a global production shock. Now let's talk about who feels this the most. Because it's not evenly distributed, Middle East and North Africa immediate impact. These countries rely heavily on food imports. So when prices rise, it hits instantly. Governments can try to subsidize, but that only works for so long. Sub-Saharan Africa, fastest deterioration. This is where things get serious, quickly. These countries import a lot of food, have limited financial buffers, and can't absorb rising costs. So food insecurity shows up fast. Europe, slow burn. Europe is not facing a crisis yet, but it is facing rising energy and fertilizer costs. That feeds into farmer decisions later in the year, so the impact is delayed, but still real. Here is the most important idea in this entire video, and almost no one is talking about it. The biggest risk is not high prices, it's missing the timing window. Agriculture is incredibly unforgiving. If fertilizer does not arrive when it's needed, you don't get a second chance. You don't just fix it later. That's how you go from a temporary disruption to a multi-season supply problem. And by the time that shows up in food prices, it's already too late to do anything about it. Right now, markets are still relatively calm. They are treating this as a temporary disruption, something that will resolve, but that assumption depends on timing. If supply chains normalize quickly, fine. But if they don't, then what we are looking at is something much bigger. Because this is not just about supply today, it's about production tomorrow. So here is the bottom line. This is not just an energy story, and it's not just a commodity story. It's a global system under stress. And that stress is moving from fertilizers to farms, to food, across regions, across seasons, across time. And the most dangerous part is this: by the time everyone sees it clearly, it will already be happening.